Hello and welcome to Nerva Beacon, the podcast with me, Leigh, and Glenn, my other co-host.
Hello. You might have heard me there when I told what the name of the podcast was. That's a good start.
Yes, it is, isn't it? One day we'll get there.
One day I shall perform editing skills and we'll start it properly. But yeah, this is not the time for that.
No, it's not.
But that's all right. How are you, Leigh?
I'm doing fine. Yourself?
Yes, not too bad. Just coming off the back of a nice Sunday afternoon nap, because that's what you do on a Sunday, isn't it?
Yes.
When you're over 40 like we are.
Yep.
We're very old. Which is why we're doing the Doctor Who podcast, not something instructive like sort of running or exercise or anything like that.
Oh no, nothing like that at all.
No, we're just sitting down and reminiscing about the past. That's what we do. But good stuff. What are we talking about this week, Leigh?
The last two episodes of Capaldi's Doctor and fascist regimes.
I guess we should do that, yeah. Excellent. So we'll start off with the last two episodes, what's sort of basically gone on. So Lie of the Land, the last of the trilogy, the Monks trilogy, I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that one? How did you think that ended?
Same way as all fascist, the same way as all Doctor Who stories of that calibre seem to end. A bit bittersweet. But apart from, I'm ignoring Missy for now, but they always seem to end up with some magic button being pressed and everything goes back to normal again.
Yeah, in this case, the magic button was Bill.
Yes.
Which has happened with companions before. The companion has been the sort of one to end things before.
Yeah.
Well, at least it wasn't sort of Deus Ex Machina. At least it was...
Yeah.
It wasn't just all magically, it never happened.
Yeah, it's like... what's that story called? The one book... I'm terrible today, I've just forgotten.
Well, the Last of the Time Lords ended like that, didn't they?
Yeah, Last of the Time Lords did, and so did that one about the Stolen Earth. The two-part of that ended like that as well. Everyone
just forgot.
Yeah, so everyone forgot that the planet had been transported thousands of light years across the universe. Yeah,
I think at least it sort of made an attempt this time, in a very Sylvester McCoy-ish type of way.
Yeah.
Why humans are stupid.
Yeah.
They forget really easily what happened to them, and I think that's sort of pertinent at the moment as well. That sort of is a thing.
Yeah. This Doctor seems to be quite up on stupid humans. Pudding brains.
Planet of the pudding brains.
Yes.
It's sort of like I say, it's kind of pertinent. It's sort of the rise of fascism is happening again, although they don't call it fascism, they call it populist politics. Obviously, that's sort of started to creep in again, and it's kind of Moffat et al. Basically saying, you don't learn, do you? You don't learn from your past mistakes in your history. Give it a couple of generations and you'll start voting for these idiots again.
Yeah. Super hands, can't trust people that listen to Coldplay and vote for Nazis.
Can't trust people, Jez.
Yep.
Super hands, as always, right on the button.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting, he was in Doctor Who.
Was he?
A long time ago, yes. He played Peter Street in the Shakespeare Code.
Oh, yes, I remember now.
He was in it for all of about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Pointless. They should have had a bigger role for an actor like him, but but yeah, I do like the sort of massive swerve they had where they sort of said for a week, Doctor, it looks like he's on the side of the monks. He's going to reach that image of him looking at his hand regenerating, and it was all just bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Just complete. Number one, the Doctor lies.
Yeah.
We should have realised that.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that it was just all a massive swerve, just a test for Bill.
Yeah. See if she'd been gotten to.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I like that. I thought it was great. I also like the fact they keep bringing her mum into it as well.
Mm-hmm. Our real mum, yeah.
And yet that was the Doctor almost seeding his future without knowing it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good episode. It was a clever episode. It gave Nardole a lot to do as well, especially in the early bits.
Yeah, I like Nardole. He's really grown on us. I'm going to miss him. I think out of him and Bill, I think I'll miss him the most.
Yeah, I'm liking these little flashes of badassery that he shows.
Yes.
Where he's saying he got his hand on this planet, so his cyborg body isn't a cyborg body that the doctor's got for him or made for him. Yeah. It's what he's got himself to upgrade himself. Mm-hmm. I like the week before when he took his glasses off and he told her, if you're going to do this or you're going to do that, I'm going to have to do something. He said, oh, no, it's all right, I'm on his side. Oh, fair enough. He's coming to his own, is Nardole. And also, I guess we should talk about Missy very briefly in the episode. It is definitely Missy behind the bolt doors. Yes, it is. And she's trying to be good. I'm still going to say it now. Any bets, the last episode, that the finale, it's going to be evil Master splitting away from good Missy, just like Superman 3. Yeah, or he's going to come back to try and make her better again, or, in his eyes. It's something like that, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. He's going to have something to do with the Doctor's regeneration. Yeah, it just seems that obvious now. Yeah, but as we've seen, the obvious thing may not be the actual thing, so we don't know. It's a thinker, but it'll be the last 2 episodes, I think, will focus on that, because certainly don't think next week's episode's anything to do with that. Yeah. But we did see at the end of the Lie of the Land, Missy crying because of the people that she's killed. Yeah, she's starting to feel remorse. Yeah, that's happened somewhere before as well, and I can't remember where. But something like that has happened with another character like that, and I cannot remember who for the life of me. But it's outside of Doctor Who. Yeah. But so she is starting to feel it's just taking time, isn't it, for her not to be sort of like she's gone cold turkey from killing people. Mm-hmm. How long is it going to take her to start feeling guilt? I don't know if she ever felt as if she enjoyed killing people. She just, because it always seemed just be for the sake of it a lot of the time. Sometimes because she had to get them out of the way so she could escape, and then the rest of the time it was because she can. A tactical advantage, isn't it? Because basically that's in the Lie of the Land is, she would have killed Bill without a second thought because Bill was the problem. Yeah. So, what do? You get rid of the problem. Yeah. And that's the quickest way to kill it. Yeah. I think the Doctor sees a lot of that in himself as well, because obviously he spent such a long time on his own himself after Amy and Rory died, effectively. And I think that's why he's doing what he's doing to Missy. Yes. Because he had to go through that himself. Because how long was he alone for? It was a good 100 years or something like that, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. And then there's obviously been time beyond that he's travelled on his own as well. He was on his own all the time on Christmas as well on Trentalock. Yeah. Also, if you remember, in the Doctor's very first serial, the one about the 100,000 BC, where he picks up the rock to kill off the weakest one, and Ian and Barbara stop him. Oh, yeah. What the fuck are you doing? You don't do that, Doctor. He said, why not? What? Yeah. He was a very callous character. Although Terrance Dicks did try to have you ever read the 8 Doctors? No, I haven't. Right, it's set literally just after 8 flies away from San Francisco. Yeah. So he goes to look at the Eye of Harmony, make sure it's okay, and the Master's left a trap for him. Mm-hmm. So it sends him right back to his very first incarnation and keeps putting him it keeps depositing him near when he's going to regenerate next. And the first time, except the first one, which is that pivotal moment where he's going to pick up the skull and whack Game Man to death. And he basically says, look, stop it. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. And there's a great line in it, which, because the first Doctor says, look, young man, I won't be told what to do by you. And he basically says, look, I'm older than you and wiser than you. Do what I say. Mm. It's great. It's a good book, actually. It's pretty really Terrance Dicks. So it's the biggest bit in the book is the third Doctor bit because of Terrance Dicks, basically. Yeah, he understood the Doctor better than anybody back then. I think he did, yeah. I think he understood what made him tick and how he should act, Terrance Dicks, and that's why he stuck around for so long. Mm-hmm. And why there's such love for him now, I think. Him and Robert Holmes. Yes. I love Robert Holmes stories. It's because they're dark and horrible, usually. Yeah. Really gothic, and then, so I think that's sort of the Doctor understands the darkness better than most people, so he understands how to cure Missy. But we'll see how that pans out, because that sort of ties in nicely to this week's episode of Empress of Mars, which I really loved.
It was so bloody camp. It was brilliant.
It was great. It was proper Tom Baker, Graham Williams, 1977-esque.
Yeah, and definitely, you can tell, even if you didn't know it was written by Mark Gatiss, you would know it was, just because of the Victorians. He's obsessed with Victorians, that man.
He does love that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's gone back to that quite a few times, because, I mean, the very first Victorian he won, the Child of the King one.
Yeah.
That was The Unquiet Dead. That was Gatiss.
Yes, it was.
And obviously, League of Gentlemen is all sort of Victorian-y anyway. It might not be set then, but it's certainly
grim.
Characters like Chinnery.
Yes.
Which is my favourite. Well, the Christmas stories as well that he did.
Yes, the Dickensian names that he brings up.
Yeah, he just likes that era, doesn't he? Pickwick and all that kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just the British Empire on Mars, and apparently this is a story he'd been wanting to write for a long time as well.
Yeah.
Ever since he started writing for Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
He's got everything he loves. He's got the Ice Warriors.
Yay! I love the Ice Warriors.
I love the Ice Warriors. I like the fact that they're kind of still ambiguous. Even now, you're not guaranteed for them to be good guys. They're not really good guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're the closest thing the Doctor Who universe has got to Klingons.
Yes.
But Bill says they're Vikings, basically.
Uh-huh.
I like that line, they can just slaughter everyone in the area and then cry about a flower getting trampled up.
Yeah. There were a lot of film references in that one. It's a movie. Frozen, it's a movie.
Terminator. Well, the Doctor likes Disney. He's already proved that, because some of Ten's very first words were from The Lion King. So I think the Doctor's a bit of a Disney buff. But yeah, that's a film. Frozen, that's a film.
There was a line in an episode a couple of weeks ago where you named a movie Alien. No wonder everyone hates you.
Yeah. Oh, that was on last Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It was hilarious.
Like Alien. What? Oh, yeah, because it's Troughton. He says that, isn't he, Michael Troughton? Just from that film, isn't it? What?
Yeah.
That film, Alien. What? They all kill you. What? It's not one of no one likes you. Love it. But yeah, it's proper. I did see a few interviews where they said it is supposed to be sort of Hammer horror, and it's sort of, they've got that feel.
Yeah.
Especially with the bad guy, and it wasn't anything to do with the Ice Warriors. It was I forget his name now. Neville something it was.
Uh-huh.
How he called Neville means he's got to be a bad guy.
Neville Longbottom in Harry Potter. He was good.
Oh yeah, I suppose so. But this guy wasn't good. He was an ass. And he was an ass in the proper Horror of Fang. I take it, he reminded me of the guy from Horror of Fang Rock who was blackmailing. In fact, it was almost the same. Yeah. Because you had the Colonel there was being blackmailed by Lord Palmerston or whatever his name, Palmerdale. Because I can't remember why now. It wasn't cowardice, was it? Again, it was something like that though.
Yeah.
Debts, gambling debts, something like that. And it was the same with this. It was, he was obviously because he'd been hanged or attempted to be hanged for cowardice, and he was holding that over him. And I'm guessing a bit of Horror of Fang Rock crept in there as well.
Yeah, I was reading something ages ago, something about hanging. The actual be hanged by the neck until you're dead didn't actually turn up to the late 19th century anyway. That could account for why he's.
Well, there were the people like John Babbacombe Leigh, was a man they couldn't hang. They tried hanging him 3 times in the same session, and each time there was something wrong with the rope, and it wouldn't function properly. And in the end, they said, "Well, God clearly doesn't want you to hang."
Yeah.
So they let him go. They commuted it to a life sentence. They've done that a couple of times. In sort of the mid to late 19th century, because obviously. A bit more superstitious than they are now. But yeah, they basically said, John Babbacombe Leigh, they tried hanging you and it wouldn't work, it didn't happen, so God clearly doesn't want you to hang, so we'll just commute it to a life sentence and you'll go to the colonies or whatever. And yeah, it's a weird thing, but yeah, because there was Sharp, Obadiah Hakeswell, They couldn't kill him. They tried killing him, and he got free a couple of times from the hangman's noose, and he had that telltale rope burn injury. He was a good character as well, the Colonel. I really liked him.
Yeah, he was. I thought he was just bugger enough to get her because he was a coward. It turned out that he wasn't a coward, really.
No, I suppose he was what we would call a conscientious objector, or he had PTSD, or something
PTSD,
like that.
I think, yeah.
It's like when they killed deserters, or they called them deserters when they had things like shell shock, which obviously we call PTSD these days. I'm guessing it's sort of that situation. Or the Master. I mean, the Master did the same thing. He saw the fighting was that bad that he ran away and became Professor Yana.
Yes, he did. I remember that now. Yeah.
So effectively, he deserted as well. So I'm guessing there's a bit of that in there as well.
Something so bad that would even make the Master run away. Bloody hell! It had to be bad, didn't it? And haven't even shown you half how bad the Time War was.
Exactly. Well, it was brutal, wasn't it? It's supposed to be the war to end all wars as such for the Time Lords, because to be the Daleks, to beat Daleks, how brutal do you have to be, basically? But yeah, he was a good character. I really liked the bad guy because he was an absolute ass. I liked Friday as well. It's a shame we never got to find out Friday's real name.
Yeah.
Exilier or something it'll be. But Friday was good because he sort of had faith in the Doctor.
The captain, he kind of reminded me a little bit of Paul Bettany's character in Sharp.
Yeah, the William.
Yes, William of Orange or whatever he was. Foam Square!
Oh, he was a dick. He was a dick. Well, he was a dick in real life, apparently. So, sadly, not Sharp. I like the fact they said Sharp tried to kill him, and he did actually get shot by someone, but he wasn't. They don't know who it was, because it could have been Sharp. But the part where the Colonel gave his life to the Empress, and the Empress said, "And you shall die, but not now." She was great. I really liked her. I really liked Friday.
That was a little bit of Game of Thrones, that Game of Thrones, that bit where you shall die, but not today.
Yeah, it really was, and you've got to sort of believe that was kind of accidentally on purpose by Gatiss.
Yeah, since he plays the manager of the Iron Bank in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, well, that's basically the Ice Warriors. That's what they are. They are kind of the closest thing to fantasy characters you're going to get in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Because like I say, they are Klingon-esque. It's all about honour, and it's all about it's that idea of a bad guy who is only a bad guy because of what they're doing. Rather, there's no evil or malice behind it.
Yeah.
Then they're not a malicious enemy. If they think you fought well, we'll give you a hero's death. Yeah. If they think you're a coward or someone who's greedy or whatever, then they'll kill you. They'll kill you horribly, like their guns have been. Wow, that's a horrible thing their guns do.
Yeah, well, did it just dissolve the bodies and then fold the clothes up, or did it just fold the bodies up altogether?
Yeah, they just fold your body up.
Yeah. Nice and neat and tidy. Fits.
Yes, it's turning into a cube, basically.
Yeah, easier to pack away to get rid of later.
Yeah, that's it's awesome and terrible at the same time. Yeah. I'm guessing there'll be complaints.
Yeah,
because it's not a graphic death, but it certainly isn't. It's not a nice thing. No. It's awesome. I love it.
That's one thing about Doctor Who. They're very inventive with their deaths in this programme.
Oh, Doctor Who's always been invented. It's like I'll always remember what it's Remembrance of the Daleks, where the Doctor basically tells you what the Dalek Ray does. It just scrambles your organs up.
Yeah.
Very nasty. Yeah. But yeah, awesome thing that they're going to do. I love it. I like the fact that they've got them on both hands as well. Because usually, it's like with the Cybermen, the Cybermen, you only see guns on one hand, whereas they've got them on both wrists. Which they're warriors, it would make sense. Yeah. Sadly, you didn't see them out the carapace this time.
Yeah.
But because you did last time. Upright crocodiles is what they are, apparently. But yeah, I like the way it ended as well, with the Colonel's going to help them in the wider universe. And I didn't see this coming, and I should have done it. When the Doctor set up the transmitter, and it said the first life-bearing planet will contact you.
Alpha Centauri.
And you heard Alpha Centauri. I didn't even need to see Alpha Centauri. I just heard the voice and I thought, Alpha Centauri! Because, of course, it's Alpha Centauri.
Yes. That leads back to Peladon, doesn't it?
Yeah, feeding straight into Peladon, the Federation.
Yeah.
Welcome to the universe!
Again, the Doctor's rewritten his history again.
Yeah, he's set history going on the right track of where it's supposed to go. Yeah. But they did it in such a way that if you're a fan, you'll know it, and if you're not a fan, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
At least you didn't see actress anyway, because I don't like actress. It's a bit creepy, that. Mm-hmm. But there you go. That was really cool, and I like the fact that God Save the Queen didn't refer to our Queen.
No.
Or didn't refer to Queen Victoria. It was the Queen of Mars.
Yeah.
Which is really, really cool. All in all, I thought it was a really good episode. A lot of people have been online saying they didn't like it. I'm not sure why.
Oh, you know why? Because there's the one black person who apparently should never have been there fighting for the British in the war.
Well, how do they know? Were they there?
No, they weren't. It's the same every time. There's a black character in Doctor Who. Everybody explodes. The only time that happened was this time round with Bill.
But they did have black people fighting in the British Army during that point.
I know they did. The same in the French Revolution, Girl in the Fireplace, where she's walking around with her friend or her maid, lady in waiting, black. French weren't like we were.
No, the French just went over and just took over all these African countries and then brought them all back.
Yeah.
We didn't do that because we weren't into the slavery as much.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I found it a bit jarring was in the Shakespeare Code when they had sort of Chinese and Indian people and that. Probably not.
But then again, remember Shakespeare's club's built right on the bloody port.
Oh yeah,
so
but even then I just think probably not at that point. That's a bit too early. But certainly there were loads of black soldiers in the British Army fighting in 1881. Of course there were. Mm-hmm. We had a massive empire. You don't think people from the empire joined up? Of course they did.
Just like everybody tried to join the Romans.
But no, that didn't bother me in the slightest. I didn't know he was going to die, though. Do you know how I knew he was going to die?
Go on.
So you're going to get married to your girlfriend then? Oh, yeah, we're going to have kids.
Yes.
Like that. All right, goose.
That's what I said to Scott last night. Oh, he's going to die.
Yeah, he got goosed.
Yes.
He totally got goosed. It's like, yeah, I'm going to marry my girl. Just this one last mission. Oh, no.
Yeah.
He's decided to make it one day till retirement, is he?
Yeah. And then Missy again. Nardo released Missy. Oh, dear.
I'm wondering if that TARDIS thing is because they shouldn't have been there and the TARDIS just didn't want anything to do with it because it was a weird fixed point in time situation, or is the TARDIS rebelling for another reason? They never quite explained that.
Because I was just thinking when Nardo was saying what's wrong, I was thinking, just ask her.
Yeah. And then Sharon Jones appears and tells him, sadly. Yeah. But yeah, I think obviously the thing with Missy wasn't the fact that she was there at all. The first question that she had for the doctor was, "Are you all right?"
He's not all right.
Like,
you know,
the shock on his face.
Yeah.
Did you say? Yeah, are you all right? Yeah. And it's like, whoa, that's quite a big thing, that is. But yeah, then we've got next week something to do with the Romans, which will be interesting. But something to do with the monsters in the dark. So people are saying, "Oh, Stranger Things," then.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know what? I've not seen Stranger Things yet.
Neither have I. I only know of that's got Winona Ryder in. That's the only thing I know about it.
Something to do with monsters in the dark, and you've got to be like Barb, apparently. But Barb's dead, so I don't really want to be like Barb. I can help it. Well, I'm sure in the next couple of weeks in the next couple of weeks when we review the next two episodes, we'll be on the big cliffhanger for the season ending. So that'll be interesting. But we shall move on because you wanted to have a bit of a discussion about fascism, the role of fascism in Doctor Who and how it's portrayed. Yes. Yeah. I was thinking about the Happiness Patrol and what's going on in the UK when that was but that was more to do with Thatcherism than Theresa May's. Yeah, I don't think Theresa Mayism is a thing unless being incompetent at your job and losing loads of votes is a thing.
Yeah, that is a thing for her.
Well, apparently, yeah, she's making it a thing. She's forging ahead anyway. But Happiness Patrol, completely about Thatcherism. And sort of fascism in general, but they've all said now. It's a shame, really, that's never going to be what people take away from that.
No, it's always going to be the Candyman that they take away from that.
Which was a bad choice. And it wasn't Cartmel or the writer's choice, it was purely a costume designer choice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They just read the brief and got it really, really wrong.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be just a bloke in a lab coat, wasn't it?
Yes.
Like a Joseph Mengele sort of affair.
Yeah, they kind of corrected it eventually with the Crimson Horror, which was more or less the same thing. Killing people with sweetness.
With niceness, being nice to them. It's a horrifying concept. It's just like, if you're not happy, it's kind of like the Bardi as well in the second in Smile. That's that sort of concept, but it's the Bardi were doing it because they were programmed to do it, so it's not really their fault. With Helen A and all that in the Happiness Patrol, that's completely just an ideological thing.
Yeah. I'd be pretty much buggered if I would have to live in a regime where you had to pretend to be happy all the time, because I can't.
Oh, me, I'd be totally dead within days. You got the whole, the very, very subtle, not subtle at all, pink triangle thing as well.
Yes.
So obviously, discrimination against gays, because, not Saitang. Is it Saitang? It's one of the guys who plays the Daleks is in it, and he's actually gay. Not actually gay, I think he's no longer with us, but he plays one of the people who are killed basically for being gay.
Yeah. Didn't he play the Cyber Controller as well?
Could be.
Yeah, I'm sure he did in Colin Baker's Cyberman story, Attack of the Cybermen.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, it wasn't the main Cyberman, because that was Ken Kilgariff, because everyone made a big thing about that being the same guy from Two of the Cybermen. And, it was one of those instances where nobody cared.
Yeah.
Nobody watching the program then cared about what happened in the 60s. And neither should they have done, but there you go. So yeah, obviously the Happiness Patrol, you've got the Daleks.
Yes. Well, the ultimate fascists. We hate everybody, and if you don't, we even hate ourselves if we're not quite the same.
Well, that's the whole thing. The whole, every single Dalek hates itself because it doesn't live up to what it's supposed to be.
Yes.
And it is post-war, isn't it? It's the ultimate post-war nightmare, Nazi nightmare. I mean, they did it in Star Trek as well when they went to sort of planets populated by Nazis.
Yeah.
Because I forget. I think the guy who invented the planet liked the Nazi regime but didn't want the racism. It was very. It ran along very nicely, and it was very. What's the word? Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember words today. Efficient. That's the word. So it was very efficient with the Nazi regime. So he liked it. He wanted to, but obviously the nasty racism wasn't there. But it came back because it always will. Because Nazis, whereas the Daleks, not so subtle. They're just racist.
Yeah.
And there's that great line that Ian says. He says it's and they say, "Oh, there's no reason for it." He says, "Oh, there's a reason. It's a stupid reason, but it's a reason nonetheless." Yeah. Dislike for the unlike.
Yes.
I love that guy. I just say right now, I love Chesterton.
Yeah.
He's great. But yeah, it's you can't sort of say enough how much the Daleks is Nazis. I mean, it always was there, but it was really ramped up to the nth degree in Genesis.
Yeah.
Because the whole Khaled regime was Nazi.
Yeah.
Because you had Nida, who was, the ultimate Gestapo hair flick guy.
Oh, I know, they couldn't have picked anybody else who looked even... Yeah, he was even the actor, he still did look like a Nazi, even when he wasn't playing Nazis.
Well, I do have Genesis on DVD, and the extras on it are great. They are brilliant. Some great documentaries and the whole making of it. He just seems like the nicest, campest old man. But obviously he, is one of those who he admits it freely. Playing bad guy is better than playing the good guy.
Yeah. Didn't that one have Guy Steiner in?
He was in it
yes,
as well.
He was.
There's this like Lieutenant Gruber.
Yes.
He's the one who loves me.
He's a little tank.
His little tank. The thing I liked about that, the thing I always liked about Lieutenant Gruber is that it was played in such a sympathetic way.
Yes.
It wasn't one of those like sort of gross homosexual stereotypes. He didn't go around mincing around like Mr. Humphries. It was just a bloke who seemed to like other blokes.
Yes.
And it's actually, if you go back and watch a Lower Low, it's for all the gross stereotyping that went on in that show, that the one guy who comes over it really nicely is the homosexual guy in 1980.
I really thought he was Guy Steiner was gay, but I think I read somewhere that he actually wasn't.
No, he's married. Mm-hmm. He's married. He was at a Comic-Con actually the other weekend, and a mate of mine, comedian actually, Will Hodgson, I think he met Guy Steiner, who was made up, but he met Lieutenant Gruber. Says, I met Lieutenant Gruber. We've got tattoos of a Lower Low. I think. What was it? It was a little. Obviously I had Yvette, and it was Fifi LeBonc. It was a little
Mimi LeBonc with the
Mimi,
blonde.
that's it. He met Mimi as well. He was very, very happy.
Yeah.
So Guy Steiner. He was in Pirates of the Caribbean as well. First film.
Was he?
Yes, he was the guy. You know when Jack Sparrow's ship comes into port and it sinks.
Yes.
He's the guy who tries taxiing him on it.
Oh yeah, I remember. I haven't seen that for so long.
Me neither, but I'll always remember that. Because I got very excited that Lieutenant Gruber was in it. That's how my mind works. When Johnny Depp's on the screen, I don't care. Guy Steiner pops up, Lieutenant Gruber.
I get a bit like that.
I remember when I watched Genesis for the first time and he was in it, and I'm thinking, this could only get better one way, as if Michael Sherd appears.
Yes.
Who again was in the Dalek one.
Yes. Remembrance of the Daleks. And then he turned up in Indiana Jones as Hitler.
He played Hitler so many times.
Yeah.
He played Hitler. If it wasn't Hitler, it was Himmler. And he always said the joke of it is, my wife's Jewish. He was lovely. It's one guy I kind of wish I had met was Michael Sherd. It would have been brilliant. Even though I remember him a lot as Mr. Bronson.
Yeah, he terrified me as Mr. Bronson when I was a kid.
You boy! Yeah. And yet at the end, they 180'd it, and he was the nicest character ever. It just turned out that the kids he was nastiest to were the ones he saw the most potentially. So he made them hate him. So they'd say, "Fuck you, I'll do what I want, and I'll do better just to spite you."
Yeah.
So it was all a plan by the lovely Mr. Bronson. But yeah, I mean, like I say, he was in Remembrance of the Daleks, which is the most overt. The Daleks are fascists. Let's make a parallel with that, because it is all about fascism rising again in the 60s.
Imperial Daleks and Renegade Daleks.
Yeah, and you've got people like Mr. Ratcliffe.
Yeah.
Coming up as well. That sort of the lingering racism that was still in Britain at the time when Ace finds the sign which says no Irish, no coloured, no dogs. Oh, sorry, it says no dogs, no Irish, no coloured. So, that's the order of preference for the landlady. Yeah. So even that sort of casual racism that was there in the 60s, and the sort of the rise of the pseudo-fascists of the National Front, that kind of thing that was just starting to happen because people, again, had just forgotten what they were fighting against.
Yeah, they have, yeah. And they've got that lovely monologue, discussion with the doctor and the cafe owner.
You say
like
the cafe owner?
Yeah, I say a cafe owner, but he probably isn't. But
no, I was going to say cafe owner. We both know who he really is.
Yes.
It's Jeffrey off the Fresh Prince.
Yeah, Jeffrey.
Again, that's how my mind works. It's Jeffrey. But the whole sugar thing.
Yeah.
That he fucked up loads of times. If you look online, you can actually find the bloopers of that. It took him ages to get that right. But it's a very good speech, if he didn't like sugar, if he could make everybody not like sugar, would the slavers have come and taken people from Africa? So every decision leads to other decisions.
If it hadn't been the sugar, it would have been the tobacco.
It would have always been something else, and I think that's basically what he's saying. If it had been the modern series, he would have used the fixed point in time analogy.
Yeah.
Because that's a big thing in the new series, the fixed time. But again, it's all about, even the Daleks can't stay pure for long, and even then they've got to oh no, you're not like us.
Mm-hmm.
Because
even Daleks have to genetically evolve.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the... I think that was a conscious decision on their part to sort of make Daleks hate Davros again.
Yeah.
Because he'd sort of become the Daleks' leader, and at their best, they should really have no proper leader.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from the Emperor. And I've never come through with him as the Emperor.
No, I don't like the idea of Davros being the Emperor. I like him being the force of chaos within the Daleks.
Yeah, he's the thing that he's the random factor, which means they'll always get beaten.
Mm-hmm.
Because without him, they're actually quite successful.
Mm-hmm.
It's whenever he gets involved that things go to shit for the Daleks.
Yeah.
And they know this, which is why they try and kill him.
Oh no, we don't want your harebrained plot. Go away.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's too human, ironically.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got those human emotions which the Daleks don't have anymore.
Yeah.
Ironically, he got rid of. But, yeah, he's their own worst enemy.
They kind of kept fear and hate, but yeah.
Well, the fear is the thing that does drive them, basically, because they're trapped in that cage, they can't get out, and they're scared of everything.
Yeah, if they did, they would very easily defeated if they didn't have their lovely case.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, also in that episode in Remembrance, First Shots at the Time, well,
yeah,
probably it's generally considered anyway. But it's not the only time that they dallied with fascism and things like that, because obviously Inferno as well, which you've been watching.
Yes.
The first time, I've seen it quite a few times previously. What did you think of Inferno?
I thought it was the best one of the best Pertwee stories I've ever seen. Definitely the best out of that first block of episodes. I just like the complete. I just like the way everybody enjoyed playing the evil version of themselves. Especially
the Brig.
Yes. Oh, and Benton when he turned into the. What did they call him? When he turns into a Primord, yeah. So he turns into a Primord. You could just see him really, really hamming it up there.
Oh, yeah, he's a massive old bloody ham, isn't he?
Yes.
Especially now.
Yeah.
He's a massive lover, isn't he? So, but yeah, especially Courtney, he proper loves. I mean, the Brigadier in the Mirror universe is awful. The whole first season, you sort of got used to the Brigadier being this curmudgeonly but essentially good character. And then you go to the Mirror universe, and he's just pure evil.
Yeah. I'll kill you, Doctor, if you don't take us with you. And Liz turned into another 180 back to being good, kills him. Let the Doctor go, bah!
I love this show.
Yes.
It's a shame they got rid of her, didn't they?
And she was pregnant.
And she got pregnant and they wouldn't let her come back.
Yeah. It's a shame.
She was with Jeffrey Beavers.
Yeah.
Was her husband, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She's from York as well.
Yeah, you can hear that little bit of that in her voice when she talks. But Liz, she's brilliant. I don't think there's been a companion as clever as her.
Romana, possibly.
Well, apart from Romana,
but she's a time lady.
She's a time lady, so yeah.
She's a Time Lord, so it kind of put. Yeah, it's a human. No, I don't think there has been one as clever as her. She was great. I really like her.
She reminds us of Scully from X-Files. Very skeptic, and then when it's oh shit, it's all real.
Yeah, I like the fact that he had a bit of a skeptic, someone who didn't believe everything he said, but
kept him knocked down and deflated a little bit. But
Terrence Dix and Barry Letts couldn't have that for long, could they?
No.
So let's go polar opposite. Let's have a complete thicko.
Yeah.
Bless her.
Oh, she turned out to be cleverer in the end. She's
not
academically bright, Jo, but she was not academically bright, but she was wise.
Yeah, she had a lot of common sense.
Yes.
And she picked things up really quickly. By the end of it, Jo Grant was... She knew her stuff. Mm-hmm. She wasn't stupid at all. And I think they wanted the Doctor more than anything to think that she was stupid.
Yeah.
Than a chauvinist. Yeah. But I'm not sure how Jo would have coped in the Mirror world. But Liz, yeah. I think it's weird because it's not ostensibly about the Mirror universe at all. Is Inferno?
No.
And that's the weird thing about it. But it was just an excuse to get this fascistic version of UNIT and the world in there and really work with parallel universe, which they hadn't really done in Doctor Who before.
No, I think that was the first time they had done it. Yeah, it was.
And you've done it loads of times after, to varying degrees of success, but this was the first time, and it really worked, especially because at that point, Pertwee had enough influence that he basically was just James Bond.
Yes. I get the feeling he was trying to go for that role, wasn't he?
Sorry, is that?
I'm thinking he looked as if he was trying to use Doctor Who as a vehicle to get the role of Bond, but...
No, I think he just liked using loads of vehicles.
Yeah.
I think he kind of knew I'm a bit old for Bond, but if I can get... Apparently, if you do watch DVD extras about any of his shows that he did with Lex and Dix, they always say, John came up to us and said, I've seen this vehicle, I've seen this gadget that I wouldn't mind having a go at.
Yeah.
So they'd write it in, and he was like, sort of, did anybody else do the stunts there? No, that was all John. If you ever see
he's
Doctor
very
Who,
much of an action man, that one.
Oh yeah, I mean he was in real life. He just went water skiing all the time and driving brand new bikes and cars, and he's a bit James Bondy, Return of the Sainty. So any time in Doctor Who you see John Pertwee's Doctor driving or flying or doing anything action oriented, you can bet your bottom dollar it's John Pertwee doing it, because he loved it. Tom Baker not so much.
No. Tom Baker liked being the Doctor, he just didn't like being the action man as such. He liked all the clever bits.
Exactly. Well, that was Ian Marter's role, basically, wasn't it, to do that? I always would have liked to see more Harry, but no, like I say, Inferno just shows that, the Doctor Who at that point, especially, could do this sort of serious science fiction story with a high concept, and they did play with it a lot. They haven't done Parallel Universe in a little while, though, have they?
No, I think the last one was just the Cybermen stories with
Cybermen, yeah. Which I don't know. Do you know what? I'm still not sure about the Rise of the Cybermen.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I'm not sure whether. I don't know. I understand what he was going for, the whole upgrade and the whole head down in the phone, analogy, and Lumic wanting to con everybody. But I kind of feel in that universe, everybody was that stupid they kind of deserved to.
Yeah.
Because if they couldn't see what Lumic was up to, especially the president of Earth.
Yeah,
come on now.
Bit I really, really, really disliked about that was when they went to Pete and Jackie's house, and Jackie was shouting for Rose, and it turned out that Rose was a dog in that universe. I thought, oh, that's horrible. That's a horrible thing to do.
Well, that's because Russell T Davies hates women. We've established this before.
Yeah. It was just so awful. Oh, that very nearly made us want to stop watching altogether, that bit.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I stuck it out.
It wasn't the best set of episodes, but was it Toby Whitehouse who did that? No, it wasn't. It was the other guy. I might be. No, Toby Whitehouse did. Oh. It was the other guy, Jamie something, wasn't it? Who wrote Rise of the Cybermen. Yeah. I can't remember who it was now. Let's see if I can bring it up on my old screen here. I always get confused with the new series sometimes, because sometimes I can remember straight away who did it. Tom McRae it was.
Yeah.
Tom McRae did Rise of the Cybermen. I think he was good Pete Tyler. I do like Pete Tyler.
Yes, I like that.
Although it wasn't supposed to be Dingwall, Sean Dingwall that did it. It was Simon Pegg, apparently. Was going to play Pete first. I don't think it would have worked.
No, Simon Pegg's too. I don't know. Even when he's trying to be straight, even when he's trying to do straight roles, the comedy still spills out.
Yeah.
And I really don't like him as Scotty.
Scotty with the bad accent. But again, the Cybus universe, that was kind of fascistic in a way as well. Because that was all propaganda posters and know your role in society, and
everyone stands still to listen to the news and then the joke.
Yeah. So it was something sort of fascistic anyway. I wouldn't call the Cybermen fascistic though.
Oh no, they just they don't want to rule people as they are. They just want to convert them.
Just want to make everybody the same.
Yeah.
So there's no real racism. They don't hate other races. They just think that everyone's weak and everybody should be the strongest that they are.
It's a bit like reverse Vonnegut. Harrison Bergeron, very reverse that. Where in that everyone's got to be the same as the lowest common denominator. In the Cybermen's world, everybody has to be the highest common denominator as they are, the best of their ability.
I mean, I suppose if you really want to be academic about it, I suppose you simply say it's kind of Wagnerian as well, which they did allude to in Silver Nemesis.
You know how my brain works. You know, it's always going to go there academically.
Well, that's what spending too much time in the library does for you, love, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they did sort of play with that Wagnerian thing as well in Silver Nemesis, but people don't like to. See, I don't know why people don't like Silver Nemesis.
Because
I always
it's the same
liked
as Remembrance of the Daleks. The Daleks looking for something that the Time Lords have left behind.
Well, that was the Carmel master plan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was full Carmel master plan. They're looking for something. It's all to do with the Doctor playing this long game with all of his monsters. But they kind of did wrap it up in Pandorica, that all the monsters turned on him. But yeah, it would have been more interesting if people could have seen that Carmel master plan. It would have been good.
Yeah.
But Silver Nemesis, I think he's unfairly maligned. I was talking about this with a mate of mine, and he said he hated it. And I said, well, why? Why do you hate it? Oh, bloody Cybermen don't make sense. Yeah, because they always make sense. What?
There was Nazis in that. Silver Nemesis as well.
Yes, there were actual Nazis. Nazis.
All the way from Argentina. Brilliant.
Yeah, boys from Brazil, and I was going to say boys from the black stuff, and that would be amazing. Gives a job.
Yeah, I think the only thing I didn't like too much about that story, the only thing was a bit of a niggly point. The Cybermen were too easily killed. Yeah.
Well, this is during the period where Cybermen were a bit pussyfied, really, weren't they?
Yeah.
It was difficult. It's just after Earthshock, an attack of the Cybermen, they didn't really know what to do with them, and they weren't as. It's that whole allergy to gold. They sort of thought, well, we can't get out of it now. We need to keep killing them with gold. And now, I like the fact they just said, just forget it. Just don't mention it.
Yeah.
Nobody will remember. It's been 30 odd years now.
Being killed by a catapult and a gold coin. No, you can't kill a Cyberman like that.
No, it's just ridiculous. Like the Doctor with Adric's badge. No. So, you can shoot them, you can blast them, but I'm not a big fan of the whole gold allergy thing. It doesn't make sense. Oh, it plates their breathing apparatus. They don't breathe, they're Cybermen. Doesn't make sense. But other than that, I kind of like Silver Nemesis, and I do like the fact that, again, it goes back to the old fascism, but in a different way. So Remembrance is more ideological.
This is like a continuation of the Nazis looking for mystical artifacts.
Yeah, which they did. The Spear of Destiny and all that kind of stuff. Plus, it's all about the physicality, you know, the rise of the Superman and all that, the perfect Aryan specimens, and that, you know, at least one of the Nazis thought that that's what the Cybermen were, and that's what they should be. I kind of like it. I dig it. I think it was very 80s, and it was done on the cheap. That's the only problem I got with it. It was done on the cheap, and you can tell.
Because it was supposed to be set in Windsor Castle in Windsor, but because the Queen wouldn't allow them, they went to Arundel instead. And Arundel, if you ever get the chance to go, is absolutely beautiful.
That Cornwall?
Pardon? No, Sussex.
Where's that?
Sussex.
Okay.
There's the big castle that they filmed in for with the Ace and the Doctor and the portrait on the wall, and then the bit where the Lady Painforth's tied the two cheeky kids up over a burning fire. There's that great big country park behind there as well. It really is a beautiful place to go.
Oh, there you go.
And a local man who's a fire leader.
That's a character they could have done with expanding upon.
Yeah.
Lady Painful.
Yeah, well, how did she know about Nemesis?
And which, I'm guessing the incarnation of the Doctor she knew was Troughton.
Yeah.
Because it can't have been McCoy, because she said he's changed his face.
Yeah.
But he was still a little man. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing it must have been Troughton.
Yeah, because everyone since him's been really tall.
Exactly. Bring her back. I'd love to see Lady Painful again.
Yeah.
Obviously played by somebody else this time.
Yeah.
But, and I quite liked her little assistant as well.
Mm-hmm.
Richard, his name was.
Yeah.
He was quite good.
Didn't he end up staying in the 1980s? Or did he go back? I can't remember.
They took him back.
Mm.
They took him back and he inherited all Lady Painful's stuff and stopped being a criminal. And
became a very nice bloke all round.
He became a nice bloke. Yes, exactly. I quite like Someone Else. It's not a bad story. I'm trying to think of other sorts of fascistic regime, because there's loads of them.
Yeah.
You know, let's face it, there's loads of them, but they're not all as good as the ones that we mentioned. Or they're quite subtle about it.
It seems quite easy. It just seems to be easy fallback. What shall we write about? fascists.
Well, yeah, because at the end of the day, when Doctor Who was made, it had only been sort of less than 30 years hence, but we've been fighting the Nazis, and they're a very easy cartoonish bad guy now.
Yeah.
Which was all about this with a friend of mine about Wonder Woman, because they didn't understand why Wonder Woman hadn't been set during the Nazi time, the Nazi occupation. And I two major reasons I can sort of gather from it. Number one would be Captain America already did that. Yeah.
Even then in Captain America, they stayed far away from the Nazis and just concentrated on the Red Skull and Hydra.
Yeah. Number two, I think the main reason is that for the story he was trying to tell, Nazis would have detracted from it, as you said.
Yeah.
You know, they're cartoonish bad guys. And the sort of point they were making is that it's not that so much. It's just men sometimes do horrible, stupid, nasty things to each other.
Plus they've been overdone anyway in film now.
Yeah, I think war, it's very easy to sort of, I think certainly after Inglourious Bastards, it's hard to cast the Nazis in a serious light like that anymore, because they are cartoons.
Like I said about that, like our film with Hitler on the moon with the dinosaur. You can't do anything now since they've done that.
Exactly. You have things like Iron Sky as well.
Yeah.
Plus, which is space Nazis, or Dead Snow, which is zombie Nazis.
Yeah. And plus, not a lot's really been done about the First World War, because...
No, and the First World War is the more tragic of the two, because the Second World War is ideological. It's an ideological war that was being fought. First World War was just because, let's have a war.
Yeah.
And it literally was. We've got so much empire divided between us. We've got so many arms. Let's just have a war.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares about the soldiers, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think they kind of do that in, especially now when they do any sort of Dalek or Khaled story.
Mm-hmm.
They do sort of, especially the one with Davros, just that we, Magician's Apprentice. That first bit was very First World War.
Yeah, it was.
And it kind of was in Genesis as well, where they do sort of make out that, it's a pointless, stupid war.
And they've gone back to using bows and arrows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, when they ask them, why are you fighting this war? They don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Just always been fighting it.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I think it's supposed to be 1,000 years they've been fighting the war.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows why. But yeah, it's... I think the First World War definitely is making a comeback in storytelling, because it is over 100 years ago now, and we still don't really know why.
Mm-hmm.
It seems a mystery to us now why people were fighting it.
Mm-hmm.
So certainly Doctor Who, that seems to be the way. I mean, war always makes it's like with fascism and comes along war. And there's, the idea of the pointless war. That sort of crept into Empress of Mars as well.
Yeah, it did.
Why we even fight in this, because there's been a misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that, the soldier, when the Empress got shot in the head, effectively, it was an accident.
Yeah, that was
But that's all it takes.
Yeah. An accident, some kid who's absolutely terrified accidentally starts off a whole war.
Exactly. I like there was a great bit at the end as well where the Doctor stopped anybody getting involved when the Colonel basically offered himself for execution.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yeah, that's my problem. Always thinking like a warrior.
Yeah.
So, it's...
that was the one thing Danny Pink was really, really good at. He managed to get the Doctor to admit that, yeah, he was a soldier and, yeah, he was a fighter. Even though he's hiding it.
Even worse than that, he was an officer.
Yeah, even worse, yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, Danny Pink was a gaslighting twat, and I don't...
Yes.
Didn't like Danny Pink, sorry.
That's the only thing we can say about him, that he managed to draw the Doctor's secret out a little bit more.
Yeah. But other than that, he can go suck a dick. Danny Pink is not the actor. Samuel Anderson is a perfectly nice man, and I've seen him do lots of nice things on Twitter for people. He seems like a delight, but the character,
horrible,
nasty, abusive, dangerous character. I didn't cry any tears for him in the end, I'm afraid.
He kind of reminded us of Ross out of Friends.
Ross. He's a horrible character.
Yeah.
Again, he was a gaslighter.
Didn't like Ross. His girlfriend having a decent job.
Yeah, I'll see anybody but him, and you've seen this bloke and you're friends with this bloke. Clearly, you must be fucking him.
Yeah. And then they even brought it all back at the very last episode where she says, well, I'm going back to work with, I can't remember his name. Joshua? No. Yes.
No, Mark.
Mark, yeah. And he's Mark? God, not again. They still haven't resolved that storyline.
No, and they had the whole I'm fine thing as well. With Joey, because he couldn't stand the fact that she'd want to be with anybody but him. Terrible, horrible, nasty piece of work, Ross. And that's what Danny Pink is.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to end anything on fascism as well. There you go. Danny Pink, you're a fascist. I'll say it now. You might not be on the grand scale of fascism, but you're a personal gaslighting bastard and we don't like you.
Yes.
There we are. Excellent stuff. If someone were to want to find you on the old wide world of the interwebs there, Leigh, how would they go about such a thing?
Go to Instagram, Leigh Wildtime. I take a lot of pictures of life around myself and some Doctor Who bits here and there, like my new K9 that my boyfriend bought.
Oh, do tell.
But can't get it to work. It's one of those ones that you work off your phone and it just won't work.
Ah, boo. Bluetoothy one, was it?
Yes, a Bluetoothy one. We wanted to scare the cat with it, but the cat just sniffed at it and went...
I used to have one of those, you know what controlled Davros is? That did scare the cat. Didn't like it at all. No. So, maybe that's what we need. Davros. Dave Ross. There you go. If you want to find me, you can do so on Facebook, Glenn Jakeman. If you send a message before you try and add me, otherwise I'll just delete you. I'm sorry, it's just a thing I do. If you want to find me on Twitter, it's at Cymru Nerdcave. If you want to hear lots of political rants and things like that at the moment, because that seems to be the way it's going. Up the workers, up Jeremy Corbyn, and apparently we're going to be ruled by the DUP soon.
Oh God, DUP. Did you?
Not going to happen.
They've already started in Liverpool, all the bloody orange men.
Oh, that's what we need.
Yeah.
That's what we need. Orange marches. Brilliant.
It's lovely. Yeah.
Great stuff. Something tells me it's not going to last.
No.
Something tells me that if worst comes to the worst, Scottish Tories might leave.
Yeah, Ruth, I can imagine Ruth would have been absolutely raging about the DUP.
I can't imagine so. I remember she went to a thing last year at Channel 4 News. She did like a report about the DUP and that. And they basically just said, look, it's nothing against you, love, but you're a dirty lesbian, we hate you.
Oh.
Well, we wouldn't want same-sex marriage because it means that the country would go down in flames and stuff. So I'm not a big fan of anything Ruth Davidson usually says, but where the LGBTQ stuff comes in, I think she's quite brave, actually. And I can certainly see her breaking the Scottish Tories away if you're careful.
I think she will.
But then again, this time next week, we might have Prime Minister Johnson.
Oh no, that's just as bad.
But then again, we might have Prime Minister Corbyn.
Yay!
That would be amazing. Come on, Jezza. Do it. Our very own Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
If you want stuff like that, then I'm on Twitter, but I am also putting loads of other stuff on, like the fact that I bought some very nice Justice League figures today, which is cool. If you want to find us on Twitter, we are at Nerva Beacon Pod, and on Facebook we are at facebook.com/Nerva Beacon Podcast.
And I post lots of weird pictures and memes on there to do with Doctor Who.
Yes. Leigh is, because I can't always, because I come home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and then I mean to, and then by 8 o'clock I'm asleep.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of waking up at 5, 6 o'clock at work, morning for work, but there you go. There we are. Brilliant stuff. Well, that's been episode 3. We've made it to episode 3. Hooray! Yay. So if nothing else, we've had a trilogy.
Yes.
There we are.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
It's all downhill from here, folks.
Yeah.
But we will be back in the next 2 weeks, like I say, with a couple of episode recaps. Yes. And we'll be talking about something else to do with the Whoniverse. Yes. Until then, bye-bye, Leigh.
Bye. Bye, Glenn. And bye, everybody else.
And bye, everybody, as well. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.